Hi, and welcome to Practical Woodworking. This video will act as an introduction video to the channel with a simple project towards the end. This is a new channel I'm starting where I explain different woodworking projects. These projects will range in difficulty levels. Some will be fast and basic, and others will be more intricate and take a little more time to complete. I know there are a lot of YouTube channels surrounding this topic, and the skill levels range greatly. I do not claim to be a professional or an expert on woodworking. A lot of the methods I use may not be proper or the safest, or how a majority of people complete a task. However, the procedures I use get me an end result that I can be satisfied with. My goal of this channel is not to act as a teacher or represent myself as a professional woodworker. However, my goal is to show how I go about completing a project and how I get to an end product. I also want to show that anyone can get into woodworking with basic tools and knowledge. I'm always open to constructive criticism and different methods, so please feel free to leave a comment. I will try to get a new video posted every couple weeks or so. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please subscribe so you can get an alert on my next upload. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a sanding block from a solid block of wood. Sanding block is just a block of wood. It's cut to specific dimensions on your width, your thickness, and your length. A standard piece of sandpaper, it's around 11 inches long by 9 inches wide. The length of the block is going to be the same as your width of the paper. So your length of your block is going to be 9 inches long. Now, in order to find how thick you have to get it and how wide you have to cut it, I'll show you the math. This block has a 3/4 inch groove. That is important because you have to subtract that from your overall length of the 11 inches for your sheet. When you're wrapping it, you'll have your 3/4 in here in the groove. So it'll wrap up across the top, along the side, along the bottom, along the other side, back across the top, and one more time on the left side. So right now, our width of the block is unknown, and the thickness is unknown. So we'll draw it out here we do know this is 3/4 inch. So when the sandpaper's in there, it's butted up against the bottom of the groove, comes up, across the top for the first time, along the left side for the first time, along the bottom for the first time, along the right for the first time. You're going to make one more pass across the top for the second time. You're going to finish it on the left side for the final time. So we already measured your blank sheet of sandpaper. It was 9 by 11. And we already know the length of the block is 9 inches, so we don't have to worry about that. We're only looking at the 11 inches. So we know this groove is 3/4 inch deep. So we'll subtract that from your 11 inches. 11 inches minus your 3/4. That's going to leave you 10 1/4. So you have two sides that we have to figure out the lengths on. We'll call the long sides, we'll call that X. And there's one pass, two pass, three passes. So we'll call that 3X. And on the Y side, you have 1, 2, 3, and this side right here, you cannot forget about that, that's a half. So we'll go 3 1/2 Now to solve for x, we're going to subtract 3.5y from both sides. Now we're just going to throw a number in to y just so we can focus on finding x. So we'll use 1 inch. And that's just going to cancel itself out. And 10 1/4 minus 3.5 is what, 6 3/4? Then we'll divide both sides by 3. X equals 2 1/4 inch. So that works out. So long side will be 2 1/4 inch, and that'll account for 1, 2, 3. And then your short side will be 1 inch, and then your 3/4 inch groove. Alright, I made that first pass. You can see the cut isn't square, most likely because this face is not flat. So we're going to run this through the planer first, and then recut that side, turn it over, and then cut our block to the proper width. Alright, so I planed down both sides, and I was alternating it in between passes. I know that's not the proper way, but it's going to get me close, and for what we're doing, it's a sanding block. It doesn't need to be exactly perfect, but it looks pretty good. Alright, now that we got both faces planed, we go ahead and make another cut. True up this side to these faces. You want this to be perfectly perpendicular at 90 degrees. Alright, so power's off. We said 2 1/4. There's 2 1/4 right there. Alright, now that we got the thickness or the width cut, we're going to be cutting it to its proper thickness. Alright, we're going to be using the planer to get this down to 1 inch exactly. Right now we're reading 1.12221. So we got just under an 1/8 inch to shave off of this. That's good enough. We came in just a whisker shy. We're at 0.993. So we're 7/1000ths underneath an inch, which is, again, for what we're making, that's close enough. First thing I want to do is, I don't like this knot right here. It's going to affect, I want to make sure I got enough We just got barely enough. We need 18 inches. Well, we actually need 18 and an eighth. We're good. We have just enough. So I'm going to true up this edge. And it's really not necessary, but I mean, it takes half a second to do. If you're doing a lot of parts, certainly you can put a stop block. I'm making one cut. I'm not going to worry about making getting a clamp out and last thing we got to do is cut our slot. That's going to be the kerf of the blade is going to be the thickness of your slot, or the width, and then we'll set it to 3/4 inch. Alright, once we get the fence trued up, we're going to set the distance away. We want the groove to be perfectly centered going down the length of it. It's a 1 inch thickness, so on this one you're not going to be measuring to either tooth. You're going to be this little yellow area, the actual metal part of the blade, that's where you're going to be measuring from. And we're going to go a 1/2 inch, just split it right down the middle. The location on this isn't crucial as long as you're close. Alright, now we're going to set our height. Again, the height, as long as you're close to the 3/4 inch, it's not going to make a difference. Being this knot's on this end, I didn't quite get away from it. I got more meat over here rather than over here, so I'm going to make the slot on this side just to stay away from that knot. And like I said, it's as simple as slide your paper into the groove, all the way in. It helps if you use a flat surface when you're rolling it, and keeps the edges nice and crisp. The bends, I should say. There you go. This one's a little bit of overhang. I can easily trim that off so it's not hanging down, but that's it. Thank you for watching. And like I said, if you like these videos, please subscribe. If you got any comments you want to say, leave them below. I'm always open for new ideas or critiquing. Thanks again.